well, my work is all from childhood. Bouncing balls, tops, spinning tops. You've never seen before a top being kind of pumped, and then it goes around, and then it slows down, and then you see the colors are separate and everything. And so all that awareness, I was very aware of it. That what I had seen, I had never seen before. It's very exciting. And my childhood was in Roanoke. And I think Roanoke is a beautiful city. It's nestled in the mountains. I remember distinctly a bouncing ball when I was a little kid, and I would bounce the ball. And it would turn, and it had all those stars on it, and those stripes and things, and it was all those colors. And that magic of those colors was absolutely fascinating to me. Those are the kind of things that I try to get, that magic that things had for me as a child. What's the old saying that all children make wonderful art. They just don't have the knowledge to repeat it. And that is what it takes to be an artist, to repeat a certain quality. And a child will do a beautiful, wonderful finger painting, and the next one will be just terrible, and they will never be able to do one as good as that. So that's what art is. And I suppose that I want the abandon that a child has with the knowledge that an adult has to have. That's why I work with aluminum. I'm a woman. I don't have as much strength as a man has. I think it would be stupid for me to work with a material that I can't control, that I can't work with, that's too heavy for me to move. Those are barriers that I say that we put up for ourselves. I suppose that some kind of, that an artist in painting, the way you scan, your eye scans a painting, when the artist is painting it, he or she sees all these things happening in it. And I suppose that at some point I saw, wouldn't it be nice if this really came out instead of illusion? That's basically the difference between sculpture and painting, is one's an illusion of something and the other becomes an actual object. I think it's very interesting that I'm right in the middle of it. But I wanted, basically, I think, more participation. I like the fact that people can become involved with my work. During the 60s, after I had done some canvases that came off the wall, they actually were canvases that you could walk around and in between. I still have them, by the way. I remember Elaine de Kooning once saying that she had worked on these big columns, and she said, I still have them after all these years. Nobody ever bought them. Nobody ever bought these. And I'm glad, because it's nice to have them. They take up a lot of room, but they were my first canvases coming off the wall. It was a daring leap when I started putting things on a background. I would paint the background, and that had to work as a painting, and then I would cut up pieces and attach them to this background. And so it's kind of looks like peel paint, but it's to me it was a natural progression. There are certain things that aren't a natural progression. For instance, I don't think it's a natural progression to paint totally abstract. And when I first started painting abstract, things would appear, and I would take them out because I wanted it to be totally abstract. So I'm still able to do that with the shapes of the metal attached to other things. I kind of a symbol, so I guess I would have to say that I'm involved with collage and assemblage, and I love color, so I have to paint. And I like dimensions, so I do a little bit of everything. I think I come more from being a painter than I think more like a painter than I do a sculptor. Frank Holt said to me in Orlando that he thought there was a project that my work would be perfect for. And we met down there to look at it. And I told him, when I saw the project, I told him that it's an impossible project. It's an enormous piece, but it's viewed 9 feet away. Everywhere it's viewed 9 feet away because it's in the well of a helix. Helix, I guess that's what they call it. Double helix, yes, it's a double helix because the cars go up and down. Or you can walk up if you want to. And so you view it 9, 10 feet away. It's like a museum, seeing a piece in a museum. Except it's this enormous thing. So it's not a case of doing big splashes of color that are 5 or 6 feet big. This has to have detail in it because you're actually seeing it as if you were seeing a painting on a wall, a painting or a piece of sculpture, a wall relief. It was the most enormous project I've ever known a painter who paints with a brush to undertake in my lifetime.
I believe that the building was so pure with glass. You know, you walked on glass. If you remember walking across those bridges, that was glass that you were walking on. And it was frosted, but you could see light through it. And they had all these bridges that were, of course, wonderful and made it perfect for my work because you could see the work from every angle. I had them on fishing line, 50 feet long. And I devised a way to tie them so that each one of them turned individually. So there were over 300 pieces in that thing. I'm doing one now for the Boca Raton Museum that will be part inside and part outside. And so that's a challenge in itself because it's really 2 different pieces, but it would be made to look like one piece. You know what New York has that is essential to me, and I know this from having studios. I had a studio in Hollywood, Florida. I've had a studio in Dallas, Texas, but I always had the studio in New York. New York is the source. It's the energy that somehow or another relates to me and my work, and so I don't think that I could live out of New York and be as productive as I am. I don't think so. I find myself, you know, after a couple of weeks, well, I watch a little bit of television in the morning. In New York, I'm in my studio with no television, no nothing, by 6 o'clock every morning. And when I'm out of New York, well, it's all right, I can get there 15 minutes later or something. Not New York. New York is a demanding place. New York demands excellence. It demands that you do the best you can. Rockefeller Center was the most exciting thing I have ever done. And the first day that I toured the space, they said to me, "You can put things on the wall." And I looked at them. I was shocked that they would say that. And I said, "But these are hallowed grounds." And they said, "I know, but you can put things on the wall. You can." And I realized that they were trusting me. I could do whatever I wanted. So it made me have restraints in what I was doing. I wanted to make it work with a very important building. Rockefeller Center is pure Art Deco. And I didn't try to cover that up. I just worked with it. And I decided that much of the work would be on anodized aluminum because that looks gold. And it's made for outdoors, so it's not going to turn, it's not going to change. And I probably wouldn't have said that I would do something if I knew how high they were. Those panels that were on the walls, one of them was 22 feet. And I had to make those paint those in my studio. Things come to me. I let them come. You know what I say? I'm not smart enough to know what's really I should be doing, so I do it all. And that way, doors open that I never imagined would open. You know, Joseph Campbell, the wonderful Joseph Campbell, who taught at Vassar for 47 years or something, says in his books and in his, that he calls it bliss. If you follow your bliss, doors will open that you never knew existed. And I think that's true.